Hello and welcome to Build-a-Kek, the series where we invite players in the community to take on wacky deck building challenges every week. As always, we start with a theme randomly selected from a list of 100. So this week's theme is pretty basic. It's called Senet, which is worth what? Basically, you have a third of your main deck being cards which have column-dependent effects or costs, so things like Fuse Line or the Mech Knights, but we are putting a limitation of only 6 of the Mech Knights going into the decks here. Without further ado, on to the games. Okay, so for this week's game we have Duncan versus Ben, or Duncan versus Vai. So Duncan's side, we can already see some column-based effects going off, so we have the Impermanence here and the Starfire, so working with the Magical Musketeers it looks like, so that will probably be what powers through his column-based effects. Let's see what we get from Ben. So starting off with the restrict, notice how Duncan's played around the Mech Knights as much as he can, in that he's forced to actually occupy another zone with this. But then the TR is going to attempt to take the Starfire, at which point there's going to be an Impermanence played straight onto that, which does have a column-based effect. We see the first Mech Knight coming out here, Indigo Eclipse, which can move columns actually, going into the battle phase to try and take out Starfire, but there's a Ring of Destruction. This will trigger Starfire, of course, giving Duncan access to a Casper he goes for, which is the Searcher. And then Ben's going to lose that monster there, so he goes to set 2, but he's got this Desperado. But he doesn't control a Magical Musketeer, so this is actually an illegal activation, so he's just setting that here. It might be a misclick actually. And then on Duncan's side we're seeing Casper attacking in, and then presumably Starfire, yep, attacking in as well. Just setting the Mirror Force and the Frog there. So it looks like Ben is struggling with the typical Musketeer problems of not seeing monsters and spells and traps together, so he's just having to set a lot of cards at the moment. Duncan playing around Mirror Force there, normal summoning, attacking in, and then Scapegoat comes up, so that's going to be 4 tokens here to protect Ben's life points, keep him in the game. He will lose one, of course, and then he's going to go through with a Linkuriboh here, and a Link Spider, those 2 into a Phoenix, so he can pop something in and draw. Gets rid of a Mirror Force, which is pretty nice, and then instantly drawing into purple. So he has access to blue, and he can get double draws off this blue if he chooses to. Oh, he's just gone for the single draw, he's putting it in this column to play around what he assumes is a column-based effect, but is actually just a set Dynamiscus here. Then when Blue Sky is activated, Duncan's going to chain the Dynamiscus, discarding a Ghost Ogre. Then because the Blue Sky is not face up on the field, when it resolves there are no cards in its column, so obviously it doesn't get a search off, but that does trigger the Starfire, and that means there's another Casper out. And then Ben's side, he's going to Norm Summon Kid Brave, and then he has access to a pop and a double draw with the Desperado here, but it will trigger the Casper if it stays up, but the Casper's gone. He then has Cross Domination, and Last Stand, which he gets rid of and draws 2 there. So he's going to go through into Cerberus, which can potentially get rid of the Casper, yep. And then he has a pretty strong board for this format, to be honest. Immunity to battle and destruction effects is pretty strong. And he's just going to get rid of the Starfire and then go to a Unicorn to play it safe around this set monster. So fairly low resources at this point. Duncan's a little bit behind at the moment with Spot Frog. Uses the effect to send a Ronin Toad, and then he's just going to pass there. So Ben returns the Nightfall, has a Kid Brave 2 and the Unicorn. If his attacks can keep going through, he's going to be winning the game, but there is the Mirror Force, wiping out Ben's field, although he does get the purple Nightfall off. So search for a Blue Sky and then a set. During the draw phase, is it? Yep, drop off is going to get rid of the drawn Leon Qualia. That's kind of funky. And at which point Duncan's going to scoop, I believe, yep. And then we're going to go into the next game here. So we'll probably see Duncan starting this one off again. Oh no, he's decided to go second. Ben has the Musketeer and a set, but it's set in a different column, so presumably it's not that relevant. And Duncan ends up setting 5, but there is the Twin Twisters here, because Ben assumed he would be going second, so he can get rid of Impermanence and Canadia. That's pretty good. and then Desires, which will trigger the dock here. Grabs the Cross Domination, and then he has another dock here too, but he's going to be hit by a Mirror Force, except there's a Last Stand. The counter trap you can play from your hand to negate spells or traps. That's kind of insane, to be honest. And then it's back to Duncan. Just setting stuff. He's got that extra Mirror Force and some disrupts here. On Vayu's side, Ben's side, we're going to see Indigo Eclipse come down because it can fit into that column nicely. But Mirror Force, again, he's just not playing around it. He's going to be taken out by that second copy there. Duncan has the Casper to attack in to deal with some damage, start the game going for him, potentially with some searches off, so he uses Olenoid to hit the impermanence, gets a search off, but he won't be able to use his Dynamiscus for the rest of the turn. He does get to trigger the Canadia too. Then on Ben's side, Desperado taking out the Casper and potentially triggering the Kid Brave. Yep, he's going to get some double draws off there, and he can attack over the Canadia too. Deal some damage and banish that off. Lee and Quali are attempting to set it back, but Last Stand again, going to be pushing through there. So Duncan trapped on a Ghost Ogre and a Dynamiscus here. He does have the option to banish something, but he's kind of trapped with his own cards not doing an awful lot at the moment. So Canadia comes out, summons the Leon Qualia. Does he have access to a Ronin Toad? Nope, but if he triggers the Dynamiscus, then he will be able to do things again. So he's flipped the Canadia kind of pointlessly at this point, but he's got the Dynamiscus going off, banishing that Kid Brave, and then he has rank 2 plays, so he's going to go into the Toad here, and just normal summon the Starfire, attack with both. And it doesn't look like Ben's going to have anything for this, so he has a Scapegoat, and an Ash for the Toad as well. Oh, sorry, Ash for the Starfire, because he... so yeah, Duncan put this in the same column as Scapegoat so that he could trigger it off. But the Ash comes out, and then Toad is going to bring out the Dewfrog in the standby phase for Ben. Ben has access to the purple. That's kind of big because he can just get rid of the Toad. Oh, but he's gone for the Banish instead. At which point Toad is going to negate and set that. And then he resets the Toad. Ben's bringing out the Link Rebo so he can get his Link plays off. Goes into the Goblin and then Ningirsu. You can then use the Ningirsu to put back the Nightfall, and leaving Duncan on a level 2 and a level 4, so he can't make any rank 2 plays. But he can get a search off with his Dewfrog, and then he'll be able to go for a Swap Frog play. Plus he has that impermanence around too. So we can go through the Ronin Toad and into the rank 2. Oh, he's gone actually, yep, into the rank 2. I think he just accidentally put that under. So he has another Toad here. But there is a Cyclone for the sets. And if Ben wants to, he can just attack over this Toad. Oh, except he can't because the Dewfrog comes out, of course. Okay, so he's going to have to attack into the Dewfrog, which will get Duncan a search. And then he's opting not to use the effect because he doesn't want to be hit by Awesome, but he has the Goza match, which will force Duncan presumably into Waters. No, he's going to keep Lights. Oh, he's going to take the Goza match, okay. So then he can go into another rank 2 here. He just needs to find a way to get through this Ningirsu, and then he can basically take hold of the game from there. So Duncan wins that one. Let's take a look at Duncan's list from this weekend. So starting off with the Magical Musketeer engine, he's got triple Starfire and triple Casper. For Frogs, he's got the typical triple Swap, triple Dupe, and double Ronin Totem. Then 3 Ogre for hand traps. For the Paleos, Dynamiscus, Olenoids, Canadia, and 1 copy of Leon Qualia. Then for the Magical Musketeer, the actual involved cards are the Desperado and Last Stand. He hasn't got any more of these. Then triple Mirror Force, triple Impermanence, triple Fuse Line, just 2 Blasting Fuse, which destroys all cards in the column when every other zone in the column is occupied, and 2 copies of Ring of Destruction as well, just to be able to deal with any particular monster, which happens to be a problem. For the extra, it's Toads, Oppibinia, and 1 normal Icarus. Then the typical rank 2, so Cat Shark, Phoenix, we have Centauria, and the Phantom Knights of Cursed Javelin, and then some Link monsters to go in them, so Mr. Boy, Underclock Taker, Decode, and Borrowload. For the side deck, triple Iron Dragon Tiamaton, which summons when there are 3 or more cards in the same column, which is highly likely to happen under this theme. Gamma Seals to deal with problem monsters, Heavy Storm Dusters, Dark Bribes, very generic counter trap there. Light Imprisoning Mirror, because you expect Mech Knights, and 1 Solemn Judgment. So taking a look at Ben's list then, so we have a 60 card list from him again. We start off with the hand traps, so Ashen Ogre, then the Musketeers of Casper, Doc, Kid Brave, Starfire, and then the Mech Knights, so double blue, 1 indigo, and triple purple. I think this is probably the typical ratio you'd expect, where we limited them to 6. 2 double summon, instant fusions, cross domination, desires, scapegoat, ties the brethren to make the Musketeers do even more. Then World Legacy's Memory 2, triple drop off, triple Ghost Match, triple Impermanence, triple Desperado, 1 Fiendish Deal, and triple Last Stand. For the extra deck, then, we have the Dragoness, so we can make rank 3 players, I imagine, yep. Millennium Eyes, Theseus for the Stinkates and Thousand Eyes. Omega, Breaksword as the rank 3, Firewall, Cerberus, Goblin, Mermaid, Phoenix, Unicorn, Link Spider, Linkaribo, and Ningetsu, which we saw come out. For the side deck, a bunch of Kaiju in here. So Dogoran, Gadala, Gamma Seal, the Jizukiru, Kumongus, and Thunder King. Then a triple Cyclone, triple Twisters, and triple Evenly. You do expect a lot of back row in a format where it's column based. Thank you all for watching this series and helping the community to grow. We've got some amazing themes coming up in the next few episodes, so be sure to hang around, subscribe to the channel, and keep following along with Build-a-Kek.